Hello, I'm back. Temporarily, at least, for a little while. But in the meantime, I thought now would be a great time to give you a bit of an update on what's going on and give you some updates on past vlog entries so you can sit there going, ooh, and all the rest of those emotions you people like to feel out there. So what has been keeping me so busy? Have I been off traveling the world, seeing wonderful things? No, we're in the midst of a fucking pandemic. Don't be stupid. No, I landed myself a full-time job. I'm a content strategist for an SaaS company, software as a service, and we work within the health and fitness industry. That's right, I went from swimmers to other health and fitness professionals. It's a weird jump, but my role there is to write content, so right up my alley. And the best thing about the job is that the people I work with are usually, on the whole, 99% fucking amazing. There's one or two that occasionally make me go, but generally speaking, my direct team, awesome. Fucking awesome. Best people I've ever worked with. I'm sorry guys, it's just how it is. Really awesome team. But I thought I needed to give you guys an update. I've been sitting here for the last couple of weeks going, what do I do? How do I tell these people what's going on? Does YouTube really need to know these things? So this episode is going to be an update for you of a whole bunch of other stuff that's been done. Some nice, some not so nice. Other vlog entries that you've seen or heard from, or that you might have questions about, or that you're sitting there going, what did ever happen to that complete arsehole? Or are they wearing masks now? Well, I hope they're still together. That would be really nice. So here we go. It is time for me to spill the tea. Give you some vlog updates. Start with a really happy one, because I like happy things. Here in my tongue, that's no fun. So let's start with a really happy one, because we all like happy endings. You might remember this particular one that came out just after New Year's, where I was wondering why there were so many of my friends who all of a sudden found love. And it wasn't a judgment on them or their love life or anything like that. It was more a curiosity about why it all seemed to happen at once, where there was like 5 friends who coupled up around that time. Well, I'm very pleased to report that 6 months in, they're all still together. Some of them are incredibly happy. One lot of them have moved in together, which is fantastic. Another one is actually looking at a huge overseas trip. I think they're in Queenstown at the moment with their new partner, which is very cool. They're looking at quitting their job, going to Europe for a holiday, and then coming back finding another job, and they're qualified and skilled enough to be able to do that. It's actually really quite beautiful and very heartwarming. And to be fair, I think my heart has melted a little bit since then, because I was a cold, dark husk of a man back then. Not so much anymore now though. So I am very happy to report all 5 couples that were mentioned in this particular story, all still together, all still very happy. And I'm impressed. And really, really glad for them. Well done. Over the years, I've been relatively well known in some circles for my takes on politics. It is what I did in Hamilton for so long, on Free FM down there with my own political show. Paul, the other one. Where do you think I got the name from? When I got up here and I started making podcasts, it made sense for me to start doing things in that area as well. And if you find me on TikTok, you see me still rattling on about that kind of stuff. The username is Paul_BarlowNZ. Super easy to find. Feel free to join me for my talks on media and media theory and politics and political media and all the rest of that kind of stuff. I honed those skills here though on YouTube. So I want to thank you very much for letting me do that to you and you being the guinea pigs. Now, I mentioned 2 really specific potential candidates that would be running at this year's local body election. Please make sure you are registered to vote in this year's local body election. One of those was Sandra Gowdy, who's the current mayor of Thames Coromandel. Now, Sandra hit the headlines last year when she was not going to get the vaccine when it came out, because I don't really think I need to get the vaccine, and I'm going to wait for Novavax because I don't like the new science. And then when Novavax came out, she's like, you know what? No, I'm not going to get it at all. I can do my work fine, not being able to go into any council facility, even though I'm the mayor. So she's decided this year that she's not going to run, and it's time for her to step back from public life. Good on her. I hope she enjoys her retirement, stays well away from people who might make her sick. So, good on Thames Coromandel. The other one, though, was this crazy person, Donna Pulkeri Phillips. Now, I suggested she might be running at the Hamilton election, or the local election for Hamilton City Council under the Māori ward, the new one that was created this year. And what do you know? Chalk one up for Paul. I got that right. That's exactly what she's doing. And she's already started touting her usual rabid bullshit. In fact, she's now the deputy leader of the Outdoors Party, the one that Sue Gray is a member of. Just cementing the fact that she really is crazy, cuckoo town, banana pants, nut job, insane, dangerous. When I say dangerous, I mean that really succinctly. Somebody who doesn't have the cognitive ability to be able to listen to scientists and medical professionals, who has no idea what they're doing, spreading misinformation and disinformation, and going out there to really specifically hurt people without even knowing that they're doing it, that's not the kind of person you want to have elected. So, as I said before, make sure you are registered to vote for this year's local body election. It's coming up in October. It's a postal ballot. Get your vote in. Make sure she doesn't get elected, because I promise you, if you do, Hamilton City is going to have another 3 years of Siggy Henry-style embarrassment. So you might remember this is the thing that somehow ended up having me manage the Car Fair Facebook community page through the pandemic, in a town where people don't trust the government for various reasons, don't trust doctors for various reasons, don't have the skill set to necessarily understand science and all that kind of stuff around how the pandemic worked, and we're really vehemently against getting things like vaccines and masks. And this particular person was a really nasty person about that, who got into a really angry sort of ranty-ravey thing where she turned around and she said wearing a mask is like being a subjugated Muslim woman, and it was all kinds of racist and really discriminatory. So the update on this one is actually pretty simple, and I'm really glad to say I'm really happy with the update. The person who made this particular post, who started this whole thing, is now one of the most arduous mask wearers around the town. And how do I know this? Because I do. I have spies there, community things going on. People let me know things. I own a place there. So it's one of those things that I'm actually really happy about, because the science behind mask wearing, whether it's for COVID or colds, for anything else, is really clear and has been for thousands of years, that face coverings are a great way to stop aerosol transmission of all sorts of viruses. In fact, it's actually in the Bible itself. So I'm really glad that they're at a point now where they feel comfortable wearing masks and they're doing things to keep themselves and others safe around them. Not going to complain at all. Really glad to see it, and I hope them and their whānau stay nice and safe. Alright, let's be real. This is the update that you've been waiting for. The one about the person who tormented me for a decade, who finally got his comeuppance when he was outed in the paper as being behind some cyberbullying of female candidates within his electorate, where he just so happened to be running for the local board in this year's election. And then it turned out it might not have been him, it might have been his flatmate. You want to know what happened next, and I've got some bad news for you, because there's actually nothing concrete as to what happened next. There are a couple of things that we can put together, like the fact that within a few days of that story coming out, the company that he worked for advertised for his exact position online. Does that mean he got fired? Who knows? Couldn't say. But it's an interesting coincidence that it happened so soon after all that shit hit the fan. What I do know, though, is that I had a chance to sit down and talk to the reporter from Stuff who actually broke the story, because she wanted to do a follow-up on it. And it was a really fascinating talk, because a lot of what she had come across and a lot of the evidence that she'd come across indicated that while the flatmate had taken responsibility for everything that had happened, the evidence didn't point that way. I know, gasp, shock, I am totally blown away by that all. But the problem was, he didn't leave much of a paper trail. All I could produce to help her with this particular paper trail was the time he decided to go on a GoFundMe page I set up to pay $1 to tell me to fuck off, and a little bit of paperwork around a legal incident that I'm not allowed to talk about because there was an NDA involved a few years back. Really frustrating stuff, because everywhere that he went, he made sure there was very little in the way of a paper trail. Now, she turned around and said to me, as far as she's concerned, and as far as the news is concerned, or Stuff is concerned, he was the ringleader of all of this and more, and had been doing this to a number of people for a really long time, and just hadn't been caught. Now they've been able to name and shame him. Now they've been able to put a highlight on what he's doing. That's the sort of thing that's going to follow him around for a very long time. And if it had been something that he was innocent of, I would be, kind of like, oh shit, that sucked. But I know firsthand he's not, because I know how I felt when it's happened to me. So he is going to have to deal with the fact that every job he goes for from now on, every single job, they're going to be sitting there Googling, they're going to be checking out who he is, and they're going to find that particular story pop up, pointing out that he is a misogynistic little shithead who can't help but go out of his way to bully people to make himself feel better. And that's a really tough thing to shake. Oh well. I guess you reap what you sow when it comes to that kind of thing. Anyway, that's my update. Done, dusted. Mind blown. Yes, it is full of energy. No, that wasn't coffee, that was green tea. But I am really amped because I've got a really exciting day at work tomorrow. My son's coming up to visit me this weekend, and Armageddon's on! Armageddon, yay! So expect Armageddon updates because I feel like I've been starved of nerd culture. All I have to keep me safe is this one sonic screwdriver. I need updates and fun and cosplay. So next week is going to be full of Armageddon content. I'm really looking forward to it. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Feel free to leave a comment, to share, subscribe, do whatever you want with this stuff. Unless I used to work with you, in which case I'm still really sorry that I said those things about the new people I work with, because you're awesome too. I thoroughly mean that. Most of the time. There was the odd person like Seb. But the rest of you, fantastic people to work with. Until next time, everybody, ka kite anō.